Hey, good afternoon, yo. Good morning, good evening. Wait, good afternoon, good morning, good that's all the same. Nah, that's not all the same. I think I said it differently. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm locked. Um, but yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk podcast. Bro, we finally found a name. I'm locked in, guys. Like, I got the name. We got some features and you know we're slowly growing, and I love to see that because realistically, like, all this is like me just kind of like just spreading my, I guess, 2 cents about little stuff, or just like literally just what I've been learning like slowly as I'm going through life. Like, I'm only 18 years old, dude. Like, I don't know, but I be feeling so old sometimes. I don't know why, but like, yeah, you know, I'm yapping. I'm not even gonna lie, but it's okay. But, um, you know, thank you for all the ones that have made it this far, kind of just in the journey to make it to this podcast. And if you aren't tuned in yet, then go tap into the Apple and Spotify at the Real Talk podcast. And then I'm assuming that you're probably watching this on YouTube. If you're not, then again, go to the YouTube. It's J29 Jayy. So J with three Y's and then 29. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. So today's kind of topic that I wanted to touch on is like patience. I feel like I wanted to touch on patience because I feel like patience is peace in a sense, but like it's it can be peace. Let me say it like that. Like, patience can be peace if you learn to enjoy being quiet. Like, and I feel like that's what I'm learning as of right now. Like, I'm scared to be patient. And I feel like I'm scared to be patient because I don't know how to fully, as I was saying in the peace podcast, like, I don't know how to fully quiet the noise. So therefore, it's like I'm scared to be patient and truly, I guess, find that peace, because if all I've heard is noise the whole time, it's a comfort. But why stay comfortable that entire time if you know that that patience is going to help you actually grow as a person? Because sometimes that comfort is killing you. And I'm like coming to realization, I guess, with that now. Like, again, like, I definitely said this in other podcasts. Like, for me, like, I've always been a person that's kind of going, and never like fully gave myself the time to sit down and think, oh, like, I guess think about like where I'm at and like really take in the moment. So like, I feel like I've never been fully fulfilled with like certain things that I've done, because it's like I never stopped and actually just been patient and enjoyed the ride, and like not tried to see point A to Z. Sometimes you don't have to see all the way at the end. You just have to simply take it step by step. And I feel like that's where most people kind of get caught up, and especially me. Like, I definitely get caught up with trying to rush the process, and like, not as much now, but it's still like a thing that I can get kind of caught up doing, because I just want to be kind of done or push things to the side, so then I don't, I guess, like, even with, I'll connect it more so to school. Like, with schoolwork, right? I'm doing schoolwork. I already just want to get to the finished product, so then I never actually do it to my fullest potential. Like, you rushing the process is never gonna allow you to reach your full potential to where you actually need to be. And I'm really trying to focus on that now, because I feel like in this period of time, like in my life, it's definitely like a big a big growth thing for me. Like if I can if I can learn to be patient throughout like little things and like these little walks of life that I'm taking slowly now, then I'm gonna grow beyond measure, beyond like where I even thought I could be. And, stop always like, yes, it's good to look at the future, but if you get too caught up in looking at the future, then sometimes you may not even get there because then you're gonna be worrying about doing this, and this, and you just gotta let things happen in motion. Let God, like you probably heard the term "let go and let God." Like just give it all to God. But it's like I feel like certain things like it's easy for me not to stress about and just kind of be patient with it because like I guess I really don't care as much, but it's like also the things that I do care about. I mean, I guess that's for anybody though. Like realistically, like the things that I do care about, it's hard for me to just kind of, not just take the wheel and do what I want to do with it. But like patience is scary. Like, and I feel like some people don't talk about that. Like you again, you hear all the noise all the time, and like just you always doing something. You're scared, I guess, of the outcome of what's it gonna be like when things are quiet. You're scared of that change, and change is okay. Like you have to be accepting of change. Like change is just another stepping stone to get you to where you need to be. Like sometimes your path isn't gonna all I don't think anybody's path in general, realistically. Let me change that. I don't think anybody's path is just gonna be straight and narrow. Like you're gonna do this all the time. Like anybody's gonna have to take some sort of detour to get to where they're at this current point in life. And I feel like the more you keep fighting it, like the worse or the harder you're gonna make that journey. But you probably already heard like the smarter. What is it? I don't even know the phrase. Uh, work smarter, not harder. That's what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. Like essentially, work smarter, not harder. Like if you keep trying to fight against that change all the time, like you realistically only hurting yourself. Like you giving yourself a harder battle when you don't have to. Um, and I feel like I'm pretty accepting of change, but it's it's just sometimes like you do get those, I guess, thoughts, and you're like, okay, well, I know this works, so why should I even change if I've seen this work 10 times before? But sometimes on the 11th time that you try to do something, it's not going to work. And then you get so caught up on this is the only way I know how to do things. So then, if this is the only way you know how to do things, you're never going to get to this side because you never took the time to try to learn something new. You never took the time to try to change. Like, I guess, bro, patience ties into a lot of things. Like, if we got patience here, like, you got peace, you got change, uh, I'm trying to think of another word, but like now that I think about it, I would say I feel like patience is kind of in the middle because if you put patience in the middle, like find patience, because then you'll find peace, and if you find patience, then you'll be able to accept change. That's how I want to word it. If you find patience, you'll be able to accept change. And if you find patience, you'll be able to find peace. Because essentially, like, all patience is teaching you is to be quiet, sit back, and again, like I said, let go and let God. Just let God take the wheel. Like, it's it's a hard thing, I guess, to trust God per se. Like, it's one of those things. It's easier said than done. I feel like it's because it's you feel like you have to take control of your life, but God made you. Like, he literally knows what you're gonna do the next moment. So, like, if you, the more you stop, like, the less you stop worrying about things. I don't even know if I said that right, but like, yeah, essentially, like, you stop worrying about things so much and just give it all to God. You're gonna notice like a big change throughout the different things that you do in your life, and you're gonna notice that, I guess I would say, supernatural change. Like, that's what I'm noticing now. Like, I'm just trying to, realistically, I'm just trying to let go and like just let God take the wheel right now. Like, with this podcast and stuff like that, and like with me speaking, like, I'm trying to just use his words, I guess I would say, like, let him speak through me, essentially, because I never want to come on here like half baked, I'd say. Like, I don't want to just come on here and like BS the whole thing and just kind of, give you something and then just to put it out. Like, that's, I don't like to be half baked. Hence the reason I like to rush things, because I feel like that's giving me fulfillment, but sometimes it's temporary fulfillment for the time being, and then it's not gonna allow me to actually, like I said, reach my full potential. So, therefore, like with these, like, part of the process for me, like making these, is just sitting back and waiting. Like, I literally, if I'm being honest, like with other people, like, I'll plan stuff to like talk about, but like when it's just me in my room and stuff like that, like, I don't plan these. I don't have like no script where I'm just kind of, like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this day, I'm gonna talk about this the next day, like, I'm gonna talk about that. Bro, I just get on here and talk. Like, I wait for the word to come to me. And like, now, especially at a point in my life, like, I'm trying to get heavier on prayer and just being patient. Like, part of the process is patience. Like, again, like, I'm gonna go back to what I just said. Like, if you can't learn patience, then you'll never be able to enjoy the process and appreciate the journey. Like, for me, I think the hardest thing was, why I was so negative as a kid, is because I didn't have patience, of course. Like, I literally always wanted to go from A to Z in 2 seconds, when that's never gonna be possible. Like, that's never how it works. And like I said, like, I think, like, especially kind of now, like, realizing more so what it is, I was scared of patience. And I feel like I've always been, I guess, doing something. So for me to kind of sit back and do nothing, that's the hardest thing for people to do. And especially me. Like, we don't know how to just, again, sit back and let somebody else take the wheel, and that somebody else is God. So now, how do we like enter that area to let somebody else take the wheel? And I say, honestly, the first step is prayer. Like, learn how to pray. Like, if prayer is a big step to, like, I guess, letting go and starting to reach acceptance, and that's another word. We're going to attach it. So we got patience now, and then we're going to branch it off to peace, change, and acceptance in the middle. Ooh, I got to make like a chart. But, yeah, like, first step to patience, I think, is acceptance. Like, in order to be patient, you have to accept said situation wherever you're at, and then start to let the change form. Like, you have to go through, boom. You set out to, you pray to God, okay, look, I want to learn how to be patient, right? The very first thing I think you have to begin with is accepting. Accept the situation that you're in. Accept, like, whatever's going on. I can't think of an exact scenario now, but accept that. And then you figure out how to take the proper steps. 1, 2, 3. You take those little intervals to get to that change. And then eventually you accept the change. Then I believe that you'll find that peace once you learn to stop rushing the process. I think I said in another one, like, stop rushing the process, enjoy the journey, bro. Like, without no process, there is no progress, bro. Like, and that's really can't be simpler said than that. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. And you know, if you get so scared of like the outcome of things, then you're just hurting yourself. Like, that's the devil talking to you. Like, I don't even realistically know where all the doubt for me came from, but like one of the biggest things that my father taught me, like with trying to kill that doubt and get to where I am today, is like he had me focus on one specific scripture, Philippians 4:13. And Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? So, like, it's just find a verse or something. Like, find a verse that, like, you're going to dial in that helps you to accept these other things and you actually put into works. Like, the hard thing is, like, kind of opening your Bible or like just kind of trying to pray and then getting no feedback. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing when you look at the Bible. You open it, you read the words, and then it's like you get no feedback. And when I say that, I mean like I guess you just kind of read it to read it, and you don't fully like understand what it's saying. So therefore, you're like, okay, I don't really know, so you may not take the extra steps to go more into depth with it. Like for me, what my dad had me do is he would have me wake up in the morning, and then I would write the whole verse, Philippians 4:13, every morning on my mirror. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And now I got on my chest. Like that's one of the most powerful verses that changed my life, to allow me to get to where I am today. Like, you have to find something else to believe in other than you, because you're not the only one that's going to allow yourself to get through that battle. Like, you have to lean on God. And, you know, like, it's just easier to share the load. Like, the more you I guess the more you stop resisting, then the easier things will start to seem. Because then you're going to realize, oh, I didn't have to struggle with that. Oh, I had somebody here the whole time that said he could help me, that already devoted his life to me, that already, like, he got a whole book of things, of people that have been through circumstances that we're going through right now in average life. So realistically, what is the difference between the Bible and you? So why not lean more into the Bible and the Word to get a better understanding of how to live your life and build that deeper connection with God, to then, I guess, just overall find that peace, find that patience, accept that change. Like, why not lean into somebody else? And isn't it going to feel easier to relieve that stress, relieve that excess feelings, and take it off yourself, take the weight off, and give it to God? Like, I promise you, that's going to feel 10 times better. Like, I've noticed that, like, especially now, like, trying to find that patience, like, just starting to pray about little things overall. Like, not just being so worried. Like, I hurt my hip, last week? Honestly, like, I'd be forgetting about it. Like, I mean, I know that it's like I can't do anything, but I'm not even worried about it, honestly. Like, I have no fear or anything in my body whatsoever. Like, and realistically, when I first heard it, like last week, I couldn't even get my hip to 90 degrees. It hurt immediately. And I was out the entire last season because of my hip. But for me to say, like, right now, I have no fear, no doubt, no anything. Like, it's because I let go and let God. Like, I just give him the will. Like, I've accepted it. Like, if for me to stay in my place and like stay in that place of like sorrow and just like try to fight against it and be like, nah, like, I guess like I can't go out like this, different things like that. Like, once you start to accept it and figure out how can I turn this into something, then that's the true change. But if you keep like trying to, I guess, fight against the reality, then the more you're not gonna reach that patience slash peace, if that makes sense. Like, I don't like I'm not scared, I guess, to like be hurt now as much because I know that I've accepted like that God has a plan, and realistically like certain things now, like I said, I'm slowly gaining that patience. Like, I realize that like if I'm hurt now, like God got a plan for me, like regardless, and I believe that now. Like I believe that wholeheartedly, honestly. Like, I'm not just saying that just to say that, or like, you know, I genuinely believe that. Like, for me to be at this point that I am and say that, like I feel like I've come a long way. Because compared to like me being hurt, like I guess when I first got like a kind of quote unquote major injury, like my senior year when I hurt my ankle, like I was scared because I didn't know what would happen to me. I had like a bunch of negative thoughts and different things kind of going through my mind because I just didn't know how to, I guess, accept it. I mean, I eventually did, and then I ended up having a better outcome senior year because then I accepted the change and then started to work with it. But I think not accepting, like, and fighting against that, it stops you from being who you're meant to be. Like, literally, like, if I was to, I guess, sit here and be afraid that, like, I'm never gonna come back from like my hip being hurt, or I'm just gonna be stuck forever. Like, I'm gonna keep dealing with this and never try to bounce back to get on the track or different things like that, and just accept like I'm I'm nothing without like this sport. Like, then I wouldn't be able to change. Like, I wouldn't be able to like be here right now, like speaking to y'all. Like, I wouldn't even accept that I could do anything else. Like, it wouldn't bring me to reach my full potential. And like, I guess that's the overall message today. Like, just stop being scared of patience and first start with acceptance. And then, how do you accept? How do you adjust? And then how do you change? How do you first, all right, I'll say it again. How do you first accept the patience? And then how do you make adjustments from what you know to allow that change to come in? And then allow that change to happen and find that peace. And I think the overall answer for all that is God. Like, God's the only one that can do that for you. Like, you keep fighting against yourself to do this journey, like, you're never gonna again reach that full potential. But yeah, you know, thank you for listening to me. And if you made it this far, yeah, I appreciate that. Like, Like I said before, like I'm not trying to. I never want to give anything like half baked or just like just rush one of these. Honestly, like I don't want to do that, and I don't like doing that for these, especially. I think this has a deeper meaning to it, and like I'm really just letting try. I'm trying to let God move through me. Honestly, like that's it, and just use His words, I guess, to inspire myself. But then, if it's helping other people, then that's amazing. And, all I'm trying to do is, spread his word. So, but yeah, if you haven't already, tune into the Apple and Spotify at the Real Talk podcast. Um, and, follow the YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop a follow. If you're not watching this on YouTube and you're just listening, go to the YouTube and drop a follow. But I don't know what that sounded like. I just hit my mic. But yeah, as always, have a good evening, have a good afternoon, have a good night. Um, and thank y'all for listening. But yeah.